hit record. And Logan, if you want to start whenever you feel like it, you can share what you had to share.
Yeah, so I have some property out in Louisiana that's still in my family that's been abandoned since Katrina. Um, it's, where I lived through for a few years, and it's been in the family for a while, but it's just been sitting out there rotting. It's got two dilapidated trailers on it and about a decade's worth of overgrowth. So it's definitely going to be a lot of work if we were to do anything with it. But I mean, it's in my aunt's name. Everything, we could work out a deal with her as far as paying it off and owning it, and talking to her. It would be only under like 200 a month for like a significant amount of property. You're talking like 20 something acres. I mean, it's mostly woods, but I mean, it's good. We had two trailers out there with a septic tank and and everything else. We had our own septic system. It wouldn't be hard to set up our own electrical system out there if we decided to go solar or other means. I mean, that it would be pretty easy to go off grid with that, and it's in Lacombe, Louisiana, so just across the bridge from New Orleans.
So maybe share with everybody a little bit just about so the first call we did, I kind of laid out like, here's my vision or my idea of a land project I would like to do. And we had people go around sort of saying, like you're doing, I have land, I have resources, I've got money, this is my vision. Do you have in your mind like a particular set of people you want to work with? Like you're looking for carpenters or a type of person, or or a vision for the land itself? Or is this something more like you want to get the group of people and then start thinking things out? Or do you already have something that you kind of see in your mind?
I mean, it kind of depends on what people want it to become. I used to live on a farm and here in Florida, and it was a bunch of anarcho-communists, and we ran it all collectively, and there was like you paid like $1 a day towards resources, and everybody had their own. I mean, they had multiple houses on there, and everybody had their own space, and it was really wonderful. And then we did work camp about twice a year, where we just fixed up everything at the farm, and that's how you secured your place there. And but the main thing that I would say that I want to carry over from that vision is I want to have people be able to travel in and out as they wish. I don't want anybody to have to feel like they need to stay there permanently in order to be a part of that community necessarily. You can get, at the farm I used to live at, we had people hitchhike in and out and train hop and come hang out for, weeks, months, years at a time, and then leave. And that's fine. I want it to be, just one more space we have on there. A lot of the folks that I have been working with are mostly, queer femme folks, but I mean, we're not limited to that by any means. Also, some of the folks from People's Defense League in Louisiana, or in New Orleans, the former Redneck Revolt chapter, which is a whole big bullshit. Redneck Revolt fell apart. But they are willing to come out and help, and we want to offer that as a space for them to train, and we just want to use it as a general activist space and kind of build up a sustainable, like, off-grid kind of community out there. And focus on a lot of prison abolition, because the one big issue with that area and the one big danger for anyone coming over there, St. Tammany Parish is the prison capital of the world, the incarceration capital of the world. And I found that out because the United States has the highest incarceration rate in the world, Louisiana has the highest incarceration rate in the United States. St. Tammany Parish has the highest incarceration rate in Louisiana. So we're at the heart of it there if we go in Lacombe. So just a warning to everyone.
So I'm guessing they're not very friendly towards cannabis and things of that sort.
I mean, to be honest, everyone I grew up around there with smoked, and as long as we're out there on the property, things like that, we've never had an issue. But I did go visit there for a funeral at one point, spent 2 days in solitary for less than 8.
Wow.
So I wouldn't recommend traveling around with it, but we're safe on the property.
Gotcha.
We can do pretty much whatever the hell we want on that property. We're out in the middle of, out in the middle of nowhere, and our neighbors are pretty chill. So.
All right. Well, let me catch everybody up we had a few people join. For everybody who just joined in a little bit late, Logan is talking about some land that is available in Louisiana in the family, and you were saying like it would be something around $200 a month if people are putting in, and you were just talking about you don't want this, which I think is a great idea because a lot of community projects fall apart when it's dependent on one person being there all the time or something like that. It's just not sustainable to have that.
I wouldn't even be there all the time. I would be hopping back and forth between there and Florida because I've still got projects going on here. So.
Do you think, are you interested in like bringing, permaculture design and things like that in the property and stuff like that?
Absolutely. We are debating right now, starting out, because of how much overgrowth and how all the debris from Katrina that's still there is just kind of, I mean, it's buried, some of it. It's just, and I mean, this is a case of where poverty is also an issue, of being able to afford to go and just dig all that out and get the dumpster and do all that. A lot of folks I've been talking to that are interested in it are recommending just doing controlled burns of it all. I mean, it's not the best environmentally, but what we can do with it afterwards with permaculture and things like that and restore that area might be still worth it. Versus letting it just rot still.
Yeah. Are hurricanes, I'm guessing hurricanes, obviously, right there in Louisiana, are like an occasional factor?
Absolutely. And we're also literally right down the street from the bayou. So on kind of low land, so it does flood sometimes. But, I mean, you just build things up. You get used to it. I mean, there's humidity, there's things like that, but we're right across the bridge from New Orleans. We got a wonderful fucking culture out there. Like, it is amazing. It's just a wonderful community despite, it being the incarceration capital of the world.
How soon do you see yourself wanting to, like if people are hearing this right now or whenever we post this and people are interested, like, are you ready for people to start contacting and saying like, hey, I want to come check out the land, or, what's your timeline, I guess, on this?
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to get out there in the next couple months. I might be down there this month, actually, but I'm trying to get down there within the next couple months for longer stays. I'm just going to be hopping back and forth and kind of doing work on it. But if people are committed to actually going over there and, doing it for a length of time, I can work it out and be over there. So, I mean, it just depends on interest, because I go over there when other people are interested, because I'm just not going to be the girl running around in the woods alone with no one else. I mean, I have, but like, I don't have the family out there that I used to. Everybody moved away for the most part. So like, I don't have resources. So I don't really like to go if I don't know anyone. If I'm not there with someone. So
we got a message on the side there. I don't know if you got the chat open. Somebody, Callie's very interested. So what's an email or a good way for people to reach out?
Here, I'll put my email in the chat, but it is the Glitter Bomb Queen at riseup.net.
And if anybody's interested, also, I just wanted to give a little shout out for Logan. If you want to look up her work, you can see her essays and stuff on the Center for a Stateless Society. She's got lots of interesting essays on anarchism and agorism, and a lot of the topics here we're discussing.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
the greenmarketagorist.wordpress.com just
Cool.
launched.
You launched that? Nice.
Hopefully
Awesome.
I'll get an actual, domain soon, but whatever. Priorities right now.
Any other questions anybody would like to put forward to Logan? Please feel free. Callie, if you wanted to ask anything further about, we got the email listed there. She said you can see the chat on the side. I don't know if you should see that, Logan.
Yeah. What part of the South? Lacombe, Louisiana, which is in St. Tammany Parish. It's like near Slidell, Covington, Mandeville, that area. For anybody who's familiar with that area.
Maybe type it out for them. I think they're not sure how to spell that. If you can.
Yeah.
And while we wait for more questions for Logan, anybody else who, I know there's a few other people who reached out that wanted to speak up. Make sure you're ready to do that here.
We had one more question before that about gun laws and over there. From my understanding, and it's been a while since I've lived over there, but having looked into it more recently again, open carry is legal without a permit. Concealed carry, you have to have a permit for. But also I've heard that cops don't always know the laws around there, and people might call the cops on you, and cops might harass you for open carrying. So a lot of the forums that I saw still recommend getting a concealed carry license anyways. But, if we really want to be activists about it, we can always open carry and then take it to court,
Yeah, sometimes the Louisiana cops, they're on their own. They run their own game.
So, anybody else have land offers? Because I am all about helping other people's land projects, too. I love to hop around and,
I know there are definitely a few other people on the call who said they wanted to speak. I don't know if they have land. Josh, I know you had mentioned, and there was a couple other people. I'm not sure if they're here yet. So, and unless anybody else has anything for Logan at the moment, we can always come back to Logan and Louisiana. But if not at the moment, we can jump. Anybody else who wants to speak up, feel free to step up.
Yeah, my name's, can everyone hear me?
Uh-huh.
Okay. I'm calling, I missed the first one. I'm not sure this is the same Josh you think it is, but I was just giving a call because I'm looking a little bit more outside of the United States for many, many reasons. Although I find it appealing to help out as well here within the United States. I've just been able to work and live in multiple states, and the reason why I'm going is just for government issues, and that's a laundry list of items there. So I'm basically looking towards South America. At first I thought of Costa Rica and Central America, but for that I just keep on getting drawn back to further South America. And I just wanted to know if anyone on this call is actually looking towards that or not, I guess would be my question. I'm basically looking for community people that are basically on the same thought process and wanting to do that. And, I would just need people who would want to help out, because when it comes to buying land or getting things going, that's not really what I need. It'd be nice to have some investors, but it's not necessary. I've been a contractor or in the contracting business here in the United States for about 21 years. So building homes and hotels and renovating is something that's second nature to me. So what I'm really looking for is the community part. It'd be easy for me to build my own sanctuary, but I think that, children, adults, everyone, the more numbers, the safer you are, no matter where you're at.
Josh, did you get a chance to watch? I know you said you missed the first call, but did you get a chance to watch the recording afterwards?
I did. I did watch it. I actually spoke to the lady. I believe it was Annie who
Yeah,
has property out in Costa Rica. I've
yeah.
been in contact with her. So I've talked to her a little bit, but I haven't talked to anybody else. I know there was a gentleman up in Canada.
Yeah, that's Wes. I have contact with both of them. If you're interested in, I mean, if you already talked with Annie, I haven't talked to her since then, but I know that she had already purchased land out there. And Callie in the chat is saying that she's definitely interested in being involved with other projects outside of the U.S. And I myself am planning on leaving the U.S. in the next, year or so, and am leaning towards South. I'm looking at Mexico. I've been, looking at Costa Rica and elsewhere, and there's a few spots that I feel inclined to that I really prefer not to put out on the internet just yet, but I am looking south for, I'm sure, some of the same reasons you are. Um, but yeah, I'm definitely, you can contact me. I don't know if you have my email already or not, but if anybody wants to contact me, I'll put my email in the chat. It's just intothe_light@protonmail. And while I say that real quick, I mentioned earlier at the beginning of the call, I'm probably not going to be hanging out the whole time. So when I do check out, anybody who does want to follow up with me, my email's right there. Josh, you said you've got experience building and things of that sort. Like, I'll ask you the same question I asked Logan. Are you interested in, permaculture and things of that sort? I guess if you heard the first call, you kind of heard our spiel about the importance of permaculture and
Yes. Yeah. So my basically I want to go as sustainable permaculture everything. I want to, I've been looking at the Earthship homes. The gentleman that's out in Russia that you did an interview with, I've been watching some of his videos. Um, so yeah, so this is all something new past 6 months that I've really been um, wanting to get into. I was looking for land here. I'm in Florida, so South Florida. So there's plenty of land where we build, but I just need to get out of the states for multiple reasons. The only thing that bugs me with Costa Rica a little bit is vaccine law. And so having children in Costa Rica for me is something that's kind of put one negative mark on Costa Rica. But other than that,
do they have mandatory vaccination laws out there? I don't really know.
for I'm not. If you go to any public schooling or private schooling, they can make you do vaccines. I've also talked to a few people that have lived in Costa Rica, and I guess they got harassed for their kids coming in and out as well, and they weren't, they're American citizens. So I haven't gotten the full story from them or sat down face to face and actually talked to them what exactly happened to them. But that's why they left Costa Rica after like their third trip. They just decided not to return. So
Yeah, yeah, that's definitely something I think that's becoming increasingly important to people. Randall said for Costa Rica, they're trying to enforce it. It's the law, but they want to enforce it at the border. Callie is asking how old your children are. And then Randall's also asking if you have any experience with natural building techniques.
I do have experience with some natural building, not much. I do a lot of recycling, so all my furniture in my house right now is everything that someone is trash. But I have done some natural building, not much though. But I am an art. I have, I guess, some history of architectural and design as well, so and engineering as well.
So have you done like cob or something, or what's the little bit of experience you've had with natural building? What type?
Uh, More like mud huts. So, palm leaves and mud huts, similar to that. We also did a small project where we were basically filling plastic containers. We was using them with mud and aerated concrete to do that, which that's not natural, but trying to more recycle. I definitely want to do sustainability. I want to do everything off grid as possible as well. So that's something that I'm looking at as well. So like I said, it's just 6 months into this, but within the next year, I'm definitely going to make that plunge, even if it's taking my family out there. Currently, I only have one child under the age of 2, but we're planning on having more. And luckily, we're surrounded with people here in the area where we live that vaccine Vaccines aren't supposed to be here right now, but will be at one point. So that's kind of where I'm going as well.
So as a parent, are you looking to work with, like, are you specifically looking for like other parents to live and work with, or do you have a kind of an idea or vision of, you know, the type of people or community that you want to be a part of? Have you got any specifics on that yet?
So specifics is I come from a Latin background, so Hispanic. So the more family you have, the better it is. I believe in that, the saying it takes a village to raise a child. And so the more the merrier for me. Yeah, we would like to have other children, obviously, for socializing. That's not necessary. I have two really good friends who are single and they're not necessarily or divorced, and they're looking to move as well, accompany me. But it's not necessarily just a certain type of person. I think it's more where each person is, um, you know, their ideals, right? So I don't care if it's a 50, 60-year-old person. I think that's true, or 20-year-old. I think that's important to have the just the all different types of people that are all on the same idea, the same mindset to move forward.
Yeah. So for those who didn't watch the first call back in April, or maybe March, I think that I'm going to sort of assume here, and somebody tell me if I'm wrong with this assumption, but I'm going to assume that anybody who has somehow found their way to this call, that if we can have any sort of foundational agreements, like you were talking about, Josh, as far as similar ideals, it would be that we probably all agree that it's wrong to initiate force or violence against other people and coercion. So whether you're gay, trans, old, young, white, black, brown, whatever, like we all agree we're not going to use force against each other. To me, it's like we get that established, right? Whatever sort of community we build, that's the basis of it. And then other things spring from that, of course. You get different types of focuses and whatnot. But I mean, I think we're all in agreement on that. I've seen some head shaking, so I think nobody here is trying to force their way on other people. So, yeah, so I think that's an important thing. So we're all kind of coming on that standpoint already. So that's something that's good to know. And then from there, the details can get worked out. But so we've got Logan talking about land in Louisiana. Josh is looking for land and community outside of the United States, Central, South America, Costa Rica, other places. Potentially wants to be with other families or with people with other kids, but it's not a hard and fast rule. Is there anybody with questions for Josh or anybody else who would like to speak up? All right, Josh, you want to leave your info in the chat, or just let everybody know how they can find you?
Yeah, do that right.
Cool. And anybody else want to get in the queue to speak up on? I think Randall, did you have something that you want to say, or were you just wanting to tune in today?
Yeah, perhaps. Yeah, I could share a bit, just to let you know where I'm at. For example, right now I live in Costa Rica. For people that don't know, and I'm already in the works on getting my community established, an intentional community. It's about 10 families. We're all from Costa Rica, so it's all nationals, let's say. We're looking for the land, so that's what we're kind of missing right now. We're not too pretentious on what we're going to be getting, but we got some good people that are very good with permaculture and a lot of how do you call it, forest sciences and stuff, and some health experts, yoga teachers. And I'll be putting out a website probably in the next 2 weeks. We've been working on getting our image set up and stuff, and I'm doing the website design. I'll be doing two websites actually. One will be for the community, and another one will be to gather information to help other eco-villages to get set up. It will be mostly in Spanish, I think, right? But perhaps I'll find a way to get material in English if people are interested. But yeah, I'll try to gather up and centralize a lot of good stuff or resources that I've found around the web on eco-village design and using systems design thinking, and some good stuff. And I got some guys that are very good on permaculture, so I'll try to get them, to post articles about permaculture and stuff. So hopefully in some weeks you'll start to see it. I know that at first I won't have the whole platform set up the way I'm envisioning it, but hopefully it will be a very good place to get information. And then
Did we lose the sound? I lost sound. Yeah.
Yeah, it's, the audio
You
cut
cut
out.
out, Randall. Yeah, you can't hear you.
system.
There you are. There you are.
Yeah, okay, all right. Yeah, well, I've got some context. I don't know, like everybody. I know there are some communities. I just know their names, but I don't know the people on them. But I'm trying to get to know more people. I'm trying to map out other eco-villages, try to get them to connect. The way that I envision the community, the way we're gonna do it, we're gonna even do we're gonna embrace cooperativism. Legally, we're gonna be a cooperative. So that way we're gonna do our businesses. We're gonna be doing, selling. Hopefully, well, it will be, of course, all organic food and some other stuff. I do a lot of fermented food. That's what I like to do besides technology stuff. And yeah, what else? So yeah, hopefully, really my plan is to hopefully get people to know each other, also to get eco-villages to connect. I'd even start doing trade. I want people to hook up and and even the way I envision it, but I don't have like the manpower or time. But I want to build up what's it called? Another platform for people to trade and even use some cryptocurrency. That's what I would like to do, but it will be some time to build up that project.
Sounds like you got a lot of really good good vision. So if I understood you correctly, you're saying you already do have land in a project. You've got people involved, but you're open to other people helping, or you're looking for permanent people, or people to just come volunteer, or what's the capacity you want people to be involved in?
Yeah. Sorry if I wasn't that clear. So yeah, for actually right now, we got the community, but we don't have the land. So we've been working together for some time. We've been organizing using Sociocracy for managing like our decisions and stuff. And we're looking for the land. We're kind of open only like for 2 more families or 3 more families, I believe, but because we need it for legal stuff. But more likely they have to be from Costa Rica, right? So maybe I can say that we're inviting people to join the community, but I want to help communities to hook up with each other. And that's pretty much what I want to do. And then cooperate in some way, yeah.
Any questions for Randall on that project down in Costa Rica? Costa Rican community coming to fruition, wants to use, if I understood you said you guys are practicing and learning sociocracy, and you want to use the cooperative method and talking about cryptocurrency and implementing a lot of these ideas. So at the very least, it sounds like once you guys get this going, this might be a place for people to come learn from and get other ideas and see how they can incorporate it. Is there an easy way for people to hit you up, Randall, if they want to just find out more?
Yeah, I can put in my email.
And for those who haven't noticed, there is a chat on the side. You should be able to see a little chat button down there, and it'll pop up and you can see people who have been commenting. We did have a few more people, and Logan said that I also want to document progress on the project. There's a link there to the Green Market Agorist website. And Randall, there's a question from Callie. Are you guys open to having visitors, temporary volunteers, or do you teach classes? For some reason, your volume dropped out.
How's that?
Better. There you go.
Hey, yeah, definitely those are in the plans, but it will be some time before we can start receiving people. With first, of course, the main thing will be getting the land. Then we're gonna build some community house, and then we're gonna start building each family's houses. Those are like the priorities. And then after we got that set up, then we'll start building up some, learning center to people, come and join us and see our permaculture practices and stuff, and sociocracy, whatever we got experience that we can pass on. Mm.
Awesome. Sounds
Yeah.
great. Yeah, I definitely think those who are just, if you're looking into community building of any kind and you're interested in different organizational concepts, sociocracy is one that I've seen more people looking into. I'm currently doing some writing on holacracy and how holacracy could be applied to freedom cells and agorism and that. But I think that there are definitely a lot of decentralized ways for us to approach our communities and to think about how we're going to organize these things, and whether it's just going to be a handful of families or just a bunch of individuals, whether we're doing cooperative or just a bunch of entrepreneurs coming together. We're going to have a bunch of different settings and ideas. Is there anybody else in the group who has ideas, land, plans, or just wants to share their vision? You don't necessarily have to have land to speak up. The whole goal of this call is to facilitate these conversations, because I've started to realize that there are so many of us out there who are thinking in these terms, and some of us have land, some of us have money, some of us have skills, some of us have knowledge, and some of us have none of those things, but we're interested. So the goal is to bring everybody together, and we're happy to hear from anyone. Josh is asking, does anyone know any other communities willing to have or host families visiting for a while to learn? Anybody feel free to speak up. And then Stephen, I think Stephen's going to talk a little bit. Feel free to answer Josh's question in the chat if you like to. What's on your mind, Stephen?
Okay, there we go. So I'm still like learning about a lot of like what solutions can potentially be to a lot of the problems we're facing. For a little bit of context for the majority of people watching it who probably aren't familiar with my content, I'm a journalist. I'm an independent journalist on YouTube. Primarily, I focus on Middle Eastern foreign policy. I'm also an anarcho-capitalist political activist alongside that. Again, only on YouTube. I'm a professional keyboard warrior. I'm also only 23, and I just started learning about a lot of this, so I'm not, by far, not the most well-educated on this subject, but I find a lot of these ideas interesting. I do have to agree with Josh when it comes to, I don't think that these ideas would work within the context of the United States. There's a whole lot of various anarchist ideas happening within the country right now, including things like the Free State Project, which I think that actually exists in 2 states now that are trying to do that. But my problem within the United States is what's keeping it from getting the Waco treatment, essentially. What's stopping the feds from coming in, shutting the whole thing down. So I think absolutely the safest bet would be to have like a tightly knit community outside of the United States, maybe in South America, who knows. But even then, it's still a question of how long before globalization reaches us, essentially. It almost, to me, feels like trying to run from a problem that's never going to stop chasing you. I don't know, but that's just my opinion. I do certainly appreciate that you guys are offering solutions, though. I find one of the biggest problems with a lot of people online, including myself, because I'm kind of stupid, is they'll present all of the problems and overwhelm you with all the problems, but not actually give any valid solutions. And I think by far the most valid solution is basically the agorist solution of getting a plot of land, getting a community there, and then basically just dropping out of the tax cycle. And so that's essentially where I'm at on the subject. I'm not really in a position to tell everybody like, oh, this is how you farm for this vegetable, because like I'm literally just some dude in my parents' basement. But I'm learning. I want to get some land in the future. I live in New Hampshire, which is has some of the most libertarian laws in the United States. We're still in the United States, so we're still like kind of fashy. Get some land out there where like the sales taxes are low and the season's okay, grow some food, learn some stuff.
It's too damn cold for me.
Oh yeah. I'm so used to it at this point; it doesn't even bother me.
But I do
Mm.
want to say, man, a lot of good things have started in basements. So don't feel down on yourself about that. Like, and also that's the whole thing is we're all different age groups, different backgrounds, different nationalities. And, it's about us coming together. I am trying to facilitate these conversations, but I myself I've got a jar of some money that I've been saving up to get my RV fixed up and to start getting to the land. I'm not there where I want to be financially to make this happen, but I think that's why I want to work with other people, because as I was saying on the last call we had a couple months ago, there are some folks who reach out who are maybe a little bit older in age, who don't have the time, the energy, the resources, or just the strength to be out there, doing heavy work, but they might have money, or they already have land, or they have knowledge and skills. And so we're each going to bring something different to the table. Maybe for those of us who are maybe younger and a little bit, light on the financial side of things, we might be having to pull our weight in other ways, and I'm totally content with putting my body, to use and my mind to use. And so don't be discouraged if you're in a position now where you're just new, trying to find the solutions and it seems far off, or like financially or whatever it may be, because I think that's why we're doing this, is so we can figure out how we're going to work together. But have you taken any time or had any thoughts yet on what is your vision? What's your ideal community, the kind of people you want to be around? Like you were mentioning your politics and whatnot. And obviously we start with the foundation of no force or coercion, but how do you see it, like in your ideal vision, if you were to create the perfect community right now, the kind of people, the food, etc.?
Well, I think for the most part, the food should be grown by people within the community, and they can eat their own and they can share with others. Generally, when people start growing their own food, if they're good at it, they usually end up with way more than they can eat. So they like a lot of people within anarcho-capitalism are like strictly religiously capitalistic, but I don't necessarily think that you have to take a capitalistic approach to every single economic situation. Like if somebody wants to grow some food on their farm and make it a community farm that everybody can work on and everybody can take a keep from, or make some sort of machine or something and leave it out for public use, or even make a lake a public utility, I think that's fine too. It's just mainly about a tightly knit community of people who really care about one another, and maybe a little bit less of all this internet shit, excuse my language, and like cell phones, radiation, Wi-Fi, and all that, screwing up our brain chemistry, so we can actually have a civilized, non-isolated society with each other.
Get some more of that face-to-face. You bring up an interesting idea, and I'm just going to throw this idea out there. And then again, anybody else who has questions for Stephen or any of the speakers so far, please feel free to speak up, or if you don't want to speak up, type in the chat. I've thought about this just because, as you guys know, 5G has become a big part of my work, and paying attention to not just 5G, but Wi-Fi and EMF at large. I really would like to have a community that, I'm not saying there wouldn't be any internet at all, because I also want to have off-grid internet in the form of mesh networks and us building our own infrastructure, which is really important. But I mean, what if we have a EMF-free zone where there's a part of the land where there's no devices, there's no towers, there's no cell sites? It's just, if you want to go over there and meditate, or if you want to have, your, that, like, for example, let's keep the mesh networks and the cell sites away from the food, things like that. That's something that I've thought a lot about, that I think would be important to me, to just have that space.
You could even, I'm sorry, Logan, go ahead.
Also, one of the things to take into account in Louisiana is we have a cell phone tower right on the corner of the property. So they rented out the space initially and then got that property. So yeah, there's like a cell phone tower just in the middle of the woods, but that's also the only way anybody gets service out there. So it's a trade-off.
Yeah, maybe we could be the ones.
There's enough acreage that we don't have to grow the food near there,
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. At the least, we'll be the test subjects to see if we get cancer living near it, and then we can decide how far away we want to be from it. I'm just joking.
Yeah.
What were you gonna say, Steven? You had something to say?
I was gonna say, to build off of what you were saying, Derek. Instead of having an RF-free zone, we could even do the polar opposite of that and have one area where people can access the internet, say one building with computers in it and all of this stuff. so that people are free within their own homes to decide for themselves, if they want to have like a cell phone or whatever. But,
Yeah.
you don't necessarily have all the radiation just like as a blanket over your entire community.
Yeah, Josh just typed in the chat, said have a space for a business center with small rooms for private work. So yeah, you like centralize, like, hey, if you want to go do the work and hit the internet up and upload videos and whatever else you got to do. Because a lot of us, that's the reality, I think, for many of us, is that if we can find a way to make an income or be an entrepreneur through the internet, be, I hate the word, but digital nomads or whatever you want to call it, then, which like for me, most of my income is based digitally. So I do need to be plugged in to some extent for at least a certain amount of time during the day. So I could go do that at the work center without, radiating everybody in the community, and just like, hey, I'm voluntarily choosing to go into this area where we have Wi-Fi signal and service and whatnot. And, it's a nice walk away from the community and the houses and whatever else. I mean, who knows? But I do think those are important things to take into consideration as we start to envision like what we want to build. And the idea of mesh networks that I mentioned, it's happened already in parts of Mexico, parts of Africa, where low income, poor communities that the corporations aren't going to come bring towers to them because they're too far off in the countryside or whatever. They end up building their own infrastructure and they can make phone calls. They have internet. And in some cases, they're doing things much cheaper and faster. And Uncle June mentioned that wires are a thing. Exactly. We can't have internet. We could even just, I've rewired my house since I've been doing more research on 5G. I use Ethernet cables all around now just to try to reduce my use of the actual Wi-Fi. That's something else that could be taken into consideration as well, to having a central place where everything's wired in. Maybe we just got a bunch of Ethernet cables and you walk up with your laptop and you plug in and you don't even have to worry about Wi-Fi hitting you. There could be a lot of different options. But anything else you want to say, Stephen, as far as, your vision or your plans or ideas?
Just basically, I want everybody to be a good neighbor to each other. People need to go out and shake hands with their neighbor, have dinner with them, make good friends with them. Because when the chips are down, even in the United States right now, if the chips went down, if there was an EMP strike or some shit like that, the people that are going to be protecting you aren't going to be the cops. It's not going to be the military. It's going to be your neighbor. So it's all about the community.
All right. The floor is open to anybody else. Logan, you had something to say?
Yeah, just kind of thinking more on, community ideals and such. I mean, one of the number one being don't call the cops. But, and, we could figure out other alternatives, cell 411 or whatever, we decide. But, we definitely want the space to be, family friendly. Definitely want the space to be like sex worker friendly, trans friendly, like, things like that. Just queer friendly in general. Like, we want the space to be just a place, not only a place to build a self-sustaining community in itself, but also a launching point for other forms of community activism outside of that. And I mean, I already know folks in New Orleans in the activist community there. I'm not really sure what's going on in St. Tammany Parish itself, because it's been years since I've actually been rooted in that community, and I only really know like a couple people there anymore. But it's the incarceration capital of the world again. So we automatically got something we can do. We can start, we can start a chapter of the Incarcerated Workers Organizing Committee of the Industrial Workers of the World and start writing to prisoners and help them unionize and against the, corrections officers. It's like that has been working. So, things like that. Like,
So
that's the type of values that we want to kind of do or want to kind of work on there.
Yeah, you guys mentioned something too, and it sort of came up earlier, just as far as on the values thing, as far, you mentioned the no cops. I think for me that extends to, I would say, no unwanted government agents. And this might sound like we're getting a little bit off into the weeds for folks, but I think that these are important conversations to have. I know that for me personally, before I ever sign on that dotted line or agree, yes, I'm going to live with you, or yes, I'm going to build with you, I want to know that if like, for example, someone like Josh, like if he's raising his kids in a way that the state doesn't like, he's going to want to live with other people that he knows they're not going to call CPS on him. Or if CPS comes knocking one day, that we have the opportunity, I think, to say like, look, you're not welcome in our community. Because the reality is, the reason many of us are pursuing these thoughts and these ideas is because the state is becoming more oppressive and more intrusive into our lives every single day. I mean, there's just so much, whether you're talking about vaccinations or whatever else it may be. I want to live in a community that is willing to say, we're not going to allow CPS agents into here. If the IRS comes looking for somebody because some of our people don't pay taxes or whatever it may be. And I'm not saying we need to have a gun battle and go out like Waco, like Stephen was saying. In fact, we want to avoid that. But a community is only as strong as what it's willing to protect and to defend. And if your community, if you spend all this years and money and energy building a community, and then the first cop that comes along shuts you down, then, I don't know that that's very much of a community. You got to be willing to say like, look, we're going to assert ourselves peacefully, but defend our community from intruders, whether that means some street criminal just trying to break into your house, or a person wearing a badge trying to break into the community and saying they have the right to be there. I think that's important to discuss as well once we get closer to that standing point. Josh said he has questions for Randall. I don't know if you've seen that, Randall, if you want to answer out loud. He said, how and where did you start building your community? What steps did you take? How does your community stay focused? And when did you all meet? Yeah.
Yeah, well, I believe I got to know them from a friend, right? But yeah, so this guy, there's one guy, he's very into permaculture, and he was just getting to know the movement, and he's been to Mexico to get to know other eco-villages, and he and another friend of his, so that they started the idea, and I believe just from word of mouth and Facebook friends, I came to know that they were trying to build a group. It took about 2 years to get like the where we're at right now. That at least we know we're very sure that the 10 families that we're in right now are really the ones that are going to stay for sure. And definitely we're into the project, and so we still have some way ahead. And then, well, yeah, and he that guy, the permaculture guy, he just was taking some circuitry courses, and we started from there. Getting to know how to work together and do stuff, and we do like, I don't know, like vision workshops to build like the community values and the community goals. Those are things that we have been doing, and do like camp out all the families, and we go to some community or to some permaculture farm that we get invited. So we go and camp out, and just enjoy time together and feel like a family. So we're up to that point. We really feel like a family. So we're ready to put our money on the land. But it's coming. It's coming pretty soon, hopefully. Hopefully in the next 6 months we'll have that figured out. And then I'll just let you know on the progress through email and these calls.
Awesome. I had a question just for everybody. Has anybody here taken any permaculture design courses, or other than maybe, like, I know I've volunteered for a couple of cob builds, but I don't have anything I don't have real extensive experience. I've done small little hobbit house here in Houston, things like that. But I'm planning on taking a permaculture design course later on this year, early 2020. And I think that's pretty essential. Not necessarily that everybody has to take it, but at least having maybe a couple of people who have had hands-on permaculture design experience, and then can communicate that to the rest of the group. Has anybody here done anything like that so far? All right. So I think that most of us are probably virgins when it comes to permaculture courses. So that's pretty cool. I mean, I think that gives us a good starting point. And I do want to recommend, if anybody hasn't seen hasn't checked out Punta Mona in Costa Rica, whether or not you visit there or not, like, look to what they're doing there as a great example of, you may have seen the video I did. I did a tour with Stephen Brooks, who's the founder of Punta Mona, and they launched 25 years ago. He's had this community that's successfully like off the grid in the Costa Rican jungles, right on the ocean, and it's a 2-hour hike through the jungle or a 20-minute boat ride. But they are 95% off grid. They have internet, they have electricity, they have huts, they have composting toilets. But obviously, it's taken them a long time to get to that point. And they're using permaculture, just expanding far out into the jungle and growing, the vast majority of all their food. They only have to go into the market maybe once or twice a month. And yeah, so I think that there are, I guess just for me personally, I've been realizing in the last year, like, wow, this is not some sort of fantasy utopia. Like, this is happening. People are already doing this. It's just a matter of us, those of us who have these desires, to step up to the plate and take the examples that are there and learn from them and then make them happen. Because the truth is, we need communities in Louisiana. We need communities in New Hampshire. We need communities in Mexico. We need communities in Costa Rica. We need to be able to have like a network, of these types of communities that are thinking, and whether that means so that we can travel to visit each other and learn from each other and be inspired by each other. Or if, the shit hits the fan and people are like, I need to get the hell out of the United States, and they go down south or they go north or wherever they go. And there's a network of communities, what I call the counter-economic underground railroad, where we can help teach people skills and ideas and resources and things of that sort. So I do think that's important as we lay this infrastructure down, that, we don't necessarily have to be focused on one place. That's probably better to not be one place. Callie said, there are many available here in Colorado. My focus right now is getting some entrepreneurial projects going so that I can sustain myself from anywhere, but taking a permaculture course is on my radar for the next year. And Logan said, property in Louisiana, folks have talked about wanting to build a gun range, music studio, library, gardens, composting toilets, outdoor showers, mesh nets, camping area, party spot, and workspaces. We also wish to build collective businesses to sustain us. All right. I like all these ideas. Is anybody else on the chat who hasn't had a chance to speak that's been listening? If you want to exercise your voice, feel free to unmute yourself and speak up. And if not, if anybody has any other questions to Josh or Randall or Steven or Logan, please feel free to speak up as well. And I'm going to try to get back to doing this once a month. So one thing I will ask everybody who hasn't put their email in the chat, please go ahead and do that. And I'll send a follow-up email to everybody who's in this. And then I'm going to put this video out on YouTube, and we'll see if anybody else, usually people, respond as well. And we'll all just kind of stay in the loop, and we can do this again July. Hopefully you guys can all connect individually. You don't have to wait for me. That's one thing I want to make clear. Like this, I'm not trying to be the one to guide this every time. So feel free to set up your own intentional calls and whatever else going on. Randall says, helping with the organization with permaculture design courses in Finca Morpho, next course for January 2020 in Osa, Costa Rica. So that's an idea. All right, cool. Joe does want to speak in about 5 minutes. So we'll give, or Joe, you need 5 minutes. You can speak up whenever you're ready, brother. And yeah, just go ahead and post the email so I can get everybody's emails in there, and then make sure I can do a follow-up email to each of you so we can all get plugged in with each other. Joe, the floor is yours whenever you're ready. Or did you say you need 5 minutes, or you want 5 minutes to talk? Either way, we'll wait for you. I got some emails from Callie, from Amy, AC Graham. You got Randall's, Stevens, Logan's. Anybody else who wants to be in the follow-up email, please put your info there. And yeah, I'm going to try to come visit some of you guys once I get my RV fixed up and hit the road and do a little bit of traveling to visit some intentional communities in the US before I try to make my way out of here. So I hope to visit all of you who are doing these kinds of things.
You better come visit.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna come visit.
We'll show you that. We'll show you that Cajun love.
Sweet.
That's the other thing is don't expect it to be a fully vegan community. Unfortunately, we will be having crawfish boils.
Yeah, I am a vegan, but I'm not. I don't think I've set my sights on a vegan exclusive community per se, because they're even in that debate. That's like a whole nother debate, right? But there are.
Now.
There's.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, I'll just say there's for me, like, I'm okay with working with chickens for like a chicken tractor, to help them fertilize the soil. Some vegans would be like, no, I don't want to use them at all. Like, we shouldn't even collaborate with them. So there's a lot of discussion around that. But yeah, I'm not a hard line. Like I can only work with vegans personally.
Yeah. No, the last farm I was gonna say set certain limits. Like there was no there was no I mean, there was a bunch of different living spaces that had their own kitchens and stuff, but for the big house that had the huge collective kitchen that everyone tended to use for bigger meals, that space was strictly vegetarian. And, there's rules we could set like that, of course. Like, there's not any issues with that. But, yeah, no, in general, like, just wanted to, we'll be having stuff like that. And just a lot of communal stuff. We want to hang out, party, go to New Orleans, and go play music for the musicians there. We could go, play music around there and around St. Tammany, too. But, we can go busking and have fun and get gigs places. And
Cool.
it'll be awesome.
Cool. Randall says, hit me up for courses in natural construction. Next bamboo infrastructure course is July 2019. That sounds really cool. And then Deirdre said she wanted to speak up. You are welcome to speak up. I'll unmute you. I think we'll be able to hear you. Or maybe, I don't know. It doesn't want to unmute. There you go. Are you there, Deirdre? I don't know if I'm saying your name right. You are unmuted, but I don't know if we can hear you if you're speaking. Nope, I'm not getting anything through. Anybody else? Nope. No, if you want to chat, you can chat. And if you're talking, yeah, I don't know if it might be your microphone. We're not getting you on our end. If you want to post in the chat, you're welcome to do that. I don't know what. Let me see. Sometimes muting and unmuting helps.
Can anyone hear me now?
Yep.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it was my microphone. I must have unkicked it out of my PC. Hi, how is everybody?
Wonderful.
I'm in Australia. We talk about the things that we talk about in our group. Permaculture is definitely a big one. The other thing was to instead of us all going to the same workshop, we're going to compile a group fund, a joint fund, and we'll send one person, and that one person comes back with all of their lovely information and then teaches the rest of us. That's one thing we're looking at. And we do, we're trying to create flyers and do door knocking, and we have discussions on how to engage with our neighbours. We're a small group. We've probably got a handful of people in each state. But yeah, we're slowly getting there. Just the main goal is just engaging our neighbours, see who's around so that we can get more members. Thanks everybody for listening.
That's a really, really important idea, I think, to get out there, because that's for me is a big part of the Freedom Cells, is that you don't have to have, say, 8 people take a permaculture design course, which sometimes can cost thousands of dollars, or several $100s. It might be out of the range of some of us. But if you get one community member that goes there and takes pretty detailed notes and really gets involved and, takes it to heart, you come back and communicate those ideas to the group. And that's definitely valuable. I appreciate that, Deirdre. So do you guys, is your community working towards getting land, or do you guys already have land, or what's on that front?
Yeah, we haven't discussed that just yet. We're just trying to gather more consistent members. Because at the moment we have monthly meetings, and we're trying to make them more fortnightly, more constructive, more in depth, because people attend the meetings and then they want to have these beautiful, big, long discussions about the way the world is and interact with people that way. But I find that it takes away the hour limit that most people have for that meeting, which is meant to be constructive and action orientated to the same goal. So we're also trying to get weekly, not so much meetings, just kind of catch-ups. So our group at the moment is really focused on member building. So we've got a nice foundation there.
Awesome. Yeah, I think that you bring up an important point. It is important to have I guess to just be clear on the type of get-togethers you're having, if it's going to be like, hey, let's all sit around the fire and we can discuss, all our theories about world politics and, whatever philosophies we're into, we can do that. But for the folks, like you said, who have maybe 1 hour that they can give a week or a month or whatever, everybody goes into that meeting knowing like today we're going to come away with this objective, or we're going to focus on these ideas. And then once we get that order of business done, we can kind of let the conversations go freely or whatnot. Because otherwise, yeah, we could, for example, even with this call, if we don't keep a focus on moving forward in different ways, well, we could keep having these monthly calls, but never get anywhere. We could just keep talking. And so it is important, I think, for us to, as individuals and as kind of a collective on this call, and for everybody who's interested, to figure out what's the direction we're each trying to move into, and how do we do that cohesively. And when there's ways for us to move in that direction together, then we figure that out. And yeah, so I appreciate you bringing that up as well, because that is an important part, just building members that you can count on. Anybody who's done any kind of organizing knows that you can have 10 people together, but those 10 people might not necessarily be focused, or they might not be motivated, or maybe they only come once a 6 months, or something like that. So it is important, if you're talking about getting land or really building community, to have people that you're going to be able to count on. Anybody have questions for her? Callie says she loves those ideas, loves your ideas. Did you put your email in there? Is there a way for anybody to reach out to you if they have further questions?
Yes, I did. It's my my Proton Mail. Yes.
Okay, I see it up there. Okay, cool. Yeah, Joe, did you want to speak as well? Joe, you asked, are you asking her where she's located or me? Because you sent the message to me privately. I don't know if you know that. But if you, I know you wanted to speak, Joe, so it's your turn if you'd like to speak up or ask any questions.
Hello, can y'all hear me? All right, man. Good afternoon, everyone. Yeah, sorry, I pretty much missed the whole call as I just got done working right now. I just got done wrapping up. It's funny, right? Because hearing your videos in the last conference call, you're saying about even something as simple as work, or going to the farmer's market or something like that. And I just got done working at the farmer's market right now. So that's why I missed pretty much the whole call, and I just got back right now. So that's what I was doing. But I don't know exactly where the whole tone or the direction of the call has been. But if anyone is around, the East Coast, and I'm in Northern Virginia, I don't know if anyone's around here. But pretty much what I've been doing since the last call is I've been trying to get my own like little side hustles going. So I said in the last call that I work at a body shop, which I still do. It's got some useful skills, not really anything that I'm going to take. I guess I would say like to, when my plan really comes forth of like moving to Colombia and getting things going over there. But what I'm doing right now is on the side, what I've been doing to gain a little bit of extra cash is I've been going to the auctions and I've been buying and selling cars to try to get a little bit of extra income here and there and everything, and detailing cars to just try to save up that money so I can buy some land in Colombia. That's the whole goal. So that's what I've been working towards. And I haven't really taken any classes yet on permaculture that I've intended to. Coming up here this month, actually, on the second week, 2 Saturdays from now, I'm going to take a permaculture class. So I'm just trying to slowly but steadily trying to quit my job. So hopefully I can just do the whole car flipping thing and maybe make my own dealership out of it, to the point where now I have the freedom of just having my whole schedule. Instead of working from 8 to 6, which is what I do now Monday through Friday, I can now, if I feel like it, just work a Monday and like Wednesday go to the auction then, and then have the freedom of just taking classes now and really like putting effort, a lot more effort, and putting a lot more of my time towards like actually researching a lot more things and being able to be like, all right, cool, I got this little plot of land. Now I know what I can do with this little plot of land, and trying to just make something. You know, the goal right now, I'm about to turn 24 in September. So hopefully by like, you know, 30 the latest, hopefully, but who knows what happens. I'll be able to have my own little piece of land, be ready to get the hell out of the US. I'm not quite to your level yet, Derek, where you're ready at the end of this year, man. That's awesome. But I don't know where we've been going with these calls, but hopefully we'll be able to keep each other accountable. So like come December, I'll be like, yo, Derek, man, you got your RV running, man? What's good? But that's what I'm trying to do, man. I'm really trying to take these stuff serious. So I've started my own like little garden, which is cool. You know, I forage for some food around here locally. So being on the East Coast, we got a lot of berries that grow locally that are about to start popping up, like wine berries and black raspberries. And later in the fall, we got some pawpaws that are going to be growing. And on my free times, you know, I'm just trying to go out to nature, different parks, and just try to forage for mushrooms. And the farmer market guy that I work for is a mushroom guy. So he has a greenhouse couple hours away. So I'm hoping to go visit him real soon and see how he grows mushrooms and try to like gather like little gems and stuff. So I'm trying incrementally to incorporate things. So really, so I feel like I'm not just like, you know, fucking lost in the sauce, you know, fair to say. But I'm just trying, man, just trying to do what I can. And hopefully, you know, I get that stuff going, and I plan to visit an intentional community. There's a place called Twin Oaks, which is in Virginia. That's a couple hours away from me. So I plan to just visit like little communities, you know, volunteer a weekend, just see how things go, you know, just so I get different perspectives and see what people are doing, different things, you know. So that's where I'm at right now. I'm just trying to obtain skills and gather things and take classes and stuff. So hopefully, you know, maybe by the end of the year, my time will be more freed up. Hopefully I will quit my job, and I'll be able to do this. So at least I'm able to sustain myself and not being, you know, working 50-hour work weeks and just fucking working for someone else. I'll be able to work for myself and, you know,
Yeah.
in the meantime, just try to stay sane.
You're doing good work, brother. No, all that is amazing. Like I mean, that's exactly what we need to do is, you know, you're in a position where, like you said, you're working 8 to 6 Monday through Friday. So you're not going to be bailing just yet, but you're also not just sitting around. You know, you're learning skills, you're teaching yourself, you're getting involved. That's key, because you know, that's part of the vertical horizontal strategy. Even if you can't move to the land tomorrow, you know, you're still going to make sure that as you move towards that direction, you're learning, you know, and that's really important. I also want to say that, yeah, absolutely. I think a part of this is accountability. You know, please do hold me accountable. My plan is to be in that RV by the end of this year and leave Houston and come visit some of you guys and learn from some communities as I figure out where I want to be. And then as far as I was telling this to Steven a moment ago before you jumped in, like, don't be intimidated if you're not exactly where you want to be or where you know, envision, whether that's 2000, you know, when you're 6 years from now, when you're 30, or who knows if it happens sooner, if the right opportunity pops up. Because like I said, I don't even have the finances to do what I want to do at the moment. But I know that everything is going on time. You know, everything's kind of manifesting as it needs to. So I'm just pushing all my energy in that direction, and I know it's going to happen. Josh asked, are you willing to give more details on the area in Colombia you intend to move and why that area?
Well, I want to be, so they have a certain area over there called La Zona Cafetera, which is like where they grow a lot of the coffee, and a lot of the coffee is cultivated. My family, from my dad's side, is from Pereira, and over there it's really hot. It's like, I guess the closest thing I would compare it to is Florida. So like even going over there where my aunt lives, like in the city and stuff, you could drive a little bit out and you see farms and stuff. You see people growing cacao, just it's right there on their property. You see mango trees growing literally in the middle of the city, which is nuts. But I was thinking somewhere around there. I haven't honed in on a specific location yet. I haven't done like a crazy amount of research, but that's just the general area. So we're talking about like within that area, you know, it's like it's pretty big. So if you're gonna drive through the whole area, it's a couple hours, you know, maybe a good day drive around there. So I was thinking somewhere around there because it's gonna be warm, it's tropical, and it's very diverse, so you can grow a lot of things. So that's the area that I was thinking, and it makes sense for me to be in Colombia because that's where my family's from. That's where both of my parents are from. I have family over there, and just every time that I visited, I love it over there. And I think like, fuck, man, one day I'm gonna be here, Joe. And whether like, it's a big plot of land or a little piece of land, it's something that I can say is mine. It's gonna be under my name, and that's the dream. At least it's something to work towards too. So while I'm here in the States, I gotta make it count. So learn all the skills that I can, gather up as much finances as I can, because I know when I go over there, if nothing, barring nothing catastrophic happens to the dollar, my money just goes further over there. It's
Yeah.
just for whatever reason, that's what it is. We spoke about that last time, I remember, on the conference call, and you were talking about, for whatever, going, maybe Central America, and your money just goes further. That's just what it is. It's unfortunate that way, maybe for those communities, but it is what it is for right now.
Yeah.
And I don't know. That's just something that I gravitate towards.
Well, Joe, make sure to put your email in the chat. And I think, Logan, you're getting ready to head off. Is there anything else you wanted to say before you have to head out?
Yeah, I mean, I guess just, if you want to come hang out in Cajun country and right on the bayou and, get to know that culture. I mean, a lot of the same affinity for the hometown area that was just spoken of, like I have for Louisiana. So, and one of the things that comes with that is we want to start a radical Mardi Gras crew. Who's down? It'll be awesome. Mardi Gras crews act as mutual aid groups. So, and also, like, I mean, they operate year round, usually as social clubs and mutual aid groups, but they also like throw their own parades and or participate in other parades. So it should be pretty dope. So it's a good way to spread the message. It's
Absolutely.
one of the ways to spread the message over there.
And Logan, you did put your email again. You want to just say it out loud so in case anybody does want to reach out to you?
Yeah, it's the Glitter Bomb Queen at riseup.net.
Cool. I think that's in the chat, right? Yeah, it's in here.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Well, then, yes, please do reach out to Logan if you want to get down to Louisiana. And if you didn't see the last comment a couple of moments ago, you said, come pass through, stay for a while, help out in building up, maintaining the community while you're here, take those skills elsewhere. So even if you're not necessarily wanting to live forever in Louisiana, it sounds like that's a good place to come and exercise some skills and learn and work with other people.
Absolutely. Come hang out.
All right. Well, thank you for joining
I'm going
us.
to head off to work.
All right. Thanks for joining us. All right. Unless anybody has anything else for Logan, he's out of here. Joe, did anybody have questions for Joe? And if not, I know we got a couple other people who joined. We have someone on the call. And I do have Joe's email. Joe, do you want me to put that out publicly? You sent it to me in a private message, but if people want to reach out to you, can they get that email?
Yeah. It's Joseph Davila 32 at Yahoo. I know I need to change that to Proton, but that's something real quick I can change. Yeah. There you go. I gotta hold myself accountable, man. Next time it's gotta be Proton Mail and not Yahoo. I think you got yourself muted, Derek. I see you talking, but I don't know what you're saying.
I was saying I look forward to coming out there and meeting with you, and definitely look forward to coming to Colombia, man. It just sounds, every time I hear you talk about it, it's one of the places I haven't been to yet, and it definitely sounds like
it's a fun time, man. It's a fun time, and it's a different experience. Well, you've been to Costa Rica, so you kind of get the feel. I haven't been to Central America, so I don't know what the vibe is and the feel is, but it's real like welcoming. Everybody's real friendly over there, and the climate's nice, so it's a fun time, man. And hopefully, man, you come to the East Coast at some point this year, and I get to see you, and we get to meet up in person. The cookie fiend and the chip fiend meet together, man. We're trying to make that happen this year.
Fuck yeah, man. I would love to meet with each of you guys and really, you know, maybe we can start having these. Like I said, I want to keep doing these monthly conference calls, but face to face is always something unique. You know, maybe we can get some of us down to Costa Rica and connect with Randall, and connect with Josh over there in Florida as he's figuring out where he wants to go down in Central South America as well. I don't know if you heard. I guess you got to the call late, but Josh also is trying to get over to down south and looking in that area. And then as Logan was just talking about, she's got property in Louisiana. So we've got a number of people interested, and Deirdre's down in Australia. They're holding it down over there, working on it. So, you know, this is a global thing. This is a global movement of people who are looking for better solutions and looking for better ways to live. So unless anybody else has anything else to say, I did record the call, so I'll be posting this to YouTube pretty much right afterwards so we can get more people interested, and you guys can share this with anybody else who missed it. And if you joined the call late, you can go back and watch the beginning and get caught up. And as I said, anybody who wants to be in touch for the email list, put your email on the side in the chat, and I'll be sending out a follow-up email just kind of running down what we covered. And we'll just stay in touch until, you know, either later this month or next month. And again, if you guys want to connect, like, then, you know, let's keep doing that. Callie asks, is the minds.com group the best place to continue conversing with everyone in between calls? Yes, there is a intentional community conference group that I have created on Minds for those who are on Minds. That's one place, but I would also say that I think the Discord's probably the most active at the moment. For those who haven't joined our Discord channel, just go to the YouTube channel. In the description, you'll see the link to the Discord channel, and it's pretty active. Like, you know, there's a bunch of different channels for all kinds of different topics, but we do have an intentional community channel there. There's permaculture, you know, there's a lot of different topics. So as, you know, in between calls, if you're finding resources and ideas or other communities, feel free to post it in there. And unless anybody has anything else to say or add, I think that's probably good for today. We've been on for about an hour and a half. Anybody else want to say anything?
I just want to say thank you to everybody, and definitely if anyone wants to reach out to me, my emails, I'm sure Derek will put that together, but it's silverfuego@gmail.com for any questions or concerns or any interests at all. So just looking to build up the community, kind of like what Randall already did.
Yeah, awesome. Deirdre said, I have people say they need an invite to access on Discord. And yes, that usually is the case, but the link that I put below the YouTube channel is the invite link. So just go through that link and you'll be accepted into the chat and everything, and everybody will welcome you there. I really appreciate all you guys taking time on your Sunday afternoon or whatever time it is, wherever you're at in the world. And yeah, I look forward to working with you guys in some capacity and staying in touch. I will send out the email. I'll get the emails together, and I appreciate every one of you guys. Till next time. See you soon.